G'day, it's Greg Newson here for the Vitality and Wellness Centre. And today I thought we'd talk about the immune system. It's pretty topical at the moment, especially in regards to this and this. So I'd like to give you a better understanding of how the immune system works so you become more empowered with more knowledge, and then with more knowledge you are able to make a more conscious decision for your own health. So we're going to focus specifically on a virus. What happens in the body, before I start that, the immune system has two main components. It actually has a lot more than two main components, and it's very complex, but we're not going to go into that. So there's the innate immune response and the adaptive immune response. The innate immune response is the body's first line of defense against an invading pathogen like a virus. So what happens once the virus gets into the bloodstream, the immune cells come along and they engulf it. Or specific cells such as natural killer cells come along and shoot toxic chemicals into it and destroys it. But if that innate immune response is weak, or it is overrun with virus, it moves away from the innate immune response into the adaptive immune response. Now, the adaptive immune response, within that there is two main components, and they're called lymphocytes. Now, lymphocytes is the body's army that fights our battles. There's the B lymphocyte and the T lymphocyte. The role of the B lymphocyte, which equates to about 20% of the adaptive immune response, is that it produces antibodies. So when the virus is in the blood, the B lymphocytes go, oh, there's a virus, let's create some antibodies. The antibodies grab hold of it, and then they send signals to other immune cells to come along, engulf it, inject it with chemicals, kill it. Okay. So that's quite an important role of the B lymphocytes, very important role, and that's what this focuses on. So it focuses on putting the spike protein in the body, which causes that antibody to be produced, which then causes the immune system to come along and attack it. Now, we know, because of what's happened, that we have to have two of these to try to build up that immune response. But we're now finding that after 4 to 6 months, that immunity, so the antibodies produced, is starting to wane, starting to go down. So we then have to have another one, which they tell us that we then should have full immunity. So the B lymphocytes do produce memory cells, which are things that we kind of, they remember what the virus is like, and they go, okay, well, this is what we need for that virus. We'll put it into the vault, and when we get attacked by that virus next time, we'll open it up and we'll make millions of them and we'll kill it. Okay, so that's what a memory cell does. Now, unfortunately, we don't know if we have the third one of these whether we're going to have that immunity, and we may have to have a fourth or fifth or sixth. But that's, as I said, only part of the picture. The B lymphocytes are 20% of that immunity. The other 80% is the T lymphocytes. So if we look at what a virus does, a virus's job is not to swim around our bloodstream. A virus's job to keep its evolution going is to replicate. And it does that by infecting cells, our cells, no matter where they are, lungs, intestines, heart, arteries, liver. And it does that by getting into the cell and then replicating. So one little virus can produce 10, 100, 1,000, and what happens is that cell just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it goes poof, and it explodes, and all of that virus is spewed out into the bloodstream, makes the B lymphocytes go crazy because they've got to try to get more antibodies, and then they can't mop them all up, so they go, the virus goes, there's another cell, there's another cell, there's another cell, there's another cell, let's infect, let's multiply, let's replicate, let's produce more, let's keep this thing going. And we're either one of two things: we get very, very sick, or we die, right, if we don't have the right immune response. So the role of the T lymphocytes is when the cell's infected, it puts up this little flag to say, hey, I've got a problem. And the T lymphocytes don't give a rat's about what's going on in the bloodstream. They just focus on that cell. They come along to that cell, they attach to it, they put cytotoxic chemicals into that cell. It destroys everything in that cell, including that cell. And then we dramatically reduce the infectious load on the body. Unfortunately, this current one that is going around at the moment does not focus on the T lymphocyte cell production. So we can't produce a memory cell for it. Now, if we look at other vaccines that have been commonly used in the past, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, polio, flu, tetanus, they all activate the B and the T lymphocytes. This is where the body gets a great immunity to a particular virus. So they might put a dead part of the virus might be dead, or it might be a very inactive form of the virus, but it allows the body to fight and make the memory cells of the B and the T. This is only the B. So it's very important for us to keep the T lymphocytes as well as the B lymphocytes and the innate immune system strong. Now there is 3 simple things that do that: zinc, vitamin D, and vitamin C. And interestingly, the lymphocytes have the second highest concentration of vitamin C in the body amongst everything in the body. Adrenal glands is number 1. So those 3 things are going to keep that immune system robust. Now, when you get infected, there's herbs like Andreographis, Echinacea. They're all good herbs and mushrooms like your turkey tail, your reishi mushroom. They're all good to help with the infection. And then astragalus and cat's claw and licorice. There's a whole heap, not the black licorice that you eat from the shop, but the herb. They are really good at help balancing and that whole immune system, keeping it strong. But vitamin D, if we talk about this, vitamin D has been shown in multiple studies that a deficiency in vitamin D causes hospitalisation and severe respiratory complications. Adequate levels of vitamin D prevent that and only minor symptoms. So it's simple. They are 3 cheap and inexpensive supplements that you can take. If you're not taking them now, get onto them. But hopefully that has given you a greater understanding of how your immune system works in response to a virus, and how this is, I'm not saying it's bad, I'm not saying anything about that at all. I'm just saying that it is not targeting all of the immune system that we need, and we're not getting any memory cells for the T lymphocytes. Okay. Anyway, I hope that gives you information. Until next time, this is Greg. Stay safe and have a fantastic day.